Hi everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Paws of Coal. This is a brand new adventure game. It came out on the 1st of May, and if you watched my adventure game releases roundup video, you would have seen the feature that I did for this one all about the game. And I really wanted to play it, so here we go. We're gonna jump in. We're gonna play about 15-20 minutes of it, get an idea for what it's about. It's a sort of casual paced detective adventure game set in an animal world. So there's a mystery, sickness, and animals are going on strike, things like that. It just seems really cool, really cute. I like the look of it, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so this is where all the dialogue comes in. Dr. Tupper, I'm at my wit's end, Charles, old boy. Doc's tired voice is swallowed by the earthen floor, the padded examination table, the body lying atop it. The body announces itself with a raggedy breath, shallow and high up in the chest. The smell of iodine is thick here. It reminds you of 1. The sea and its mysteries. 2. Childhood and scraped knees. 3. Nothing, I can't afford to be distracted. 2. Charles says childhood and scraped knees. More of them are falling ill, you catch Dog saying, and I reckon we've an outbreak on our hands. Just look at him. There's a sharp snap, steel meets flint, and a lamp flickers to life. Bates, lying on the examination table half awake, is looking all sorts of bad. His hair is matted, and there's a slick and greenish cast to his skin. Oh, he doesn't look good, does he? Alright. I'm glad you agreed to help, old boy. Of course, only I'm not sure what use a botanist is to you, Doc. Don't mention it, anything for a friend, always when the community is at stake. Yeah, we need to look after all the animals, don't we? And this time it sure is, the rabbit part of it anyway. Bates inhales with the sound of a wooden bowl scooping gravel. That's very descriptive, isn't it? I had no idea Bates was sick. I just saw him yesterday morning. I'd heard something about the miners catching a strange bug. What's going on, Doc? Yeah, I heard about the miners. Aye, and it's not just the miners anymore. Now we've got not only Batesy here, but his wife and kids too. Something is going around the rabbit population in Burrows, and only the rabbit population. Right, so it's not affecting the other animals, just the rabbits. Right now, his paws start working circles on his temples. I've got 7 rabbits sick. Batesy here, his wife and 3 kids, and 2 miners I'd taken topside, who I now can't reach because the damn elevator is down. That's unlucky timing, sorry to hear that. Go on. It's unlucky timing. Not as sorry as I am, old boy. He rubs his eyes with the heels of his palms. He clearly hasn't slept in a while. I appreciate it, though. This thing started 2 weeks ago when a group of miners caught it. They got brought to me with seriously troubled breathing and on the edge of consciousness, all hearty boys in their prime. I couldn't make heads or tails of it back then, but after a few days in the new barn topside they recovered, so I chalked it up to freak occurrence. Wait, why did you put them in the barn? But it wasn't a freak occurrence. You couldn't have known better then. Why did you put them in the barn? The air's fresher up top than down here. It was their lungs I was worried about. As if to sharpen up Doc's point, Bates starts a coughing fit. A freak occurrence, he says, looking at the sick rabbit. Sure. Okay, but it wasn't a freak occurrence. No, he locks eyes with you. No, it sure wasn't. That bit of presumption has got the stink of hubris about it now. I loathe to assume anything now, old boy, but I've got to start somewhere. Do you mind giving me a sanity check? Okay, what did you have in mind? I want you to diagnose Batesy here. Okay, could give it the old college try, I guess. I wouldn't dare ask for more. Okay, new task added, L. I don't need any miracles yet, old boy. I just need someone to double check my work. There's a book on my desk. It's a primer on rabbit illnesses. Read it and examine Batesy. Let's see if we've reached the same conclusion. Okay, alright, I'll give it a shot. And here we go. Okay, so, we've got Batesy here. So we've got a log. Help Doc Hopper diagnose Batesy. Read the book on Doc's table. Check the patient Bates for symptoms. Use your journal to cross-reference your findings and come to a conclusion for Doc Hopper. We can also press J to bring up the journal. Diagnose Bates, status not started. On Bates's illness, a case study in rabbit diagnostics. So we've got books, testimonials, evidence. Okay. And what's all this? Why are these going red and green? I'm not sure. I guess we're not supposed to do that yet. Okay, well, so we need to look at this book then. Press E to interact with infirmary books. Lightning fast lagomorph diagnosis. A slim book on Doc's desk lies open to a heading titled Trouble Breathing, Trouble Speaking. Okay, 3 subheadings have been lightly underlined with charcoal. Altman's disjunction, gastric stasis, and esophageal petrification. Did you underline these for me? Read through the 3 underlined subheadings. Read the introduction to the chapter. Okay, so should we read through the underlined bits? Okay, as the chapter title suggests, all 3 conditions cause difficulty in breathing and speaking, but they can be distinguished by other features. Read through the conditions. Altman's disjunction is a condition of the nerves that causes the fine musculature of the upper body to fall out of sync with itself. The mouth doesn't know what the vocal cords are doing, the vocal cords don't know what the lungs are up to. Ditto with the patient's left and right eyes. How would I recognise this on a patient? Make a note of it and read on. How would I recognise this on a patient? Look for a stilted, chopped up speech pattern and crossed eyes. Okay, let's make a note of that. Gastric stasis seizes up the core muscles of the mid-torso, locking up the diaphragm and pushing against the spinal cord, causing a spike in cerebrospinal fluid pressure. The spike in pressure, it is hypothesized, is what causes the telltale delusions and hallucinations. Okay, how would this stand out? Looking for delusional rabbits with cramped abs. Fine. Note it. Esophageal petrification puts the esophagus into a kind of desiccated stupor, drying out the mouth and making speaking over a whisper an ordeal. Like falling asleep on your arm and losing feeling in it, but it's not your arm, it's your throat. That sounds horrible. So, what do we look for there? A dry mouth, speak in a barely audible whisper. Fine. You finish your notes on the possible conditions. It's time to check up on Batesy, see if anything matches up. Let's check something else in the book for now. What's the introduction to the chapter? Intro is in verse and also very terse. If your patient cannot speak, you won't know what's wrong. And if they cannot breathe, they've not got long. Okay, fine. Leave the book for now. So, let's open our log. We've read the book, so we need to check Bates now. Where do we get those notes that we made? Where does that go to? Is it here? No. Oh, so you can click these as well. I've got an inventory. Nice. Let's head back and examine the patient, shall we? Press E to talk to Bates. The rabbit groans softly, his eyes shut. He's skirting the edge of unconsciousness. Okay, let's listen to his breathing. Raspy, he sounds mighty uncomfortable. Okay, let's check his mouth. His morning breath hits you like a highwayman's cosh, straight out of the dark of the rabbit's half-open mouth. He stirs as he notices you. Huh? Please open up, Batesy, I want to have a look. Huh, he snorts. Open up. We never open up shop without Papa. So he's slightly delusional then. Okay. We don't? Of course we don't. Papa was very clear to us about it. Who do you think I am, Batesy? You're my younger brother and you'll do as I say. Okay, new clue. Doc, has he been like this the whole time? No, it was worse. He thought I was King Leopold. Okay, I see. Imagine that, me as the tyrant king, he snickers, shaking his head. Anyway, just tell him to say, ah, it usually works for me. Alright, say ah. He blinks a couple of times, but then opens his mouth wide. Ah. The inside of mouth is a healthy red colour and moist. No cavities either, so it's not the one with the dry mouth. Interesting. He obliges. Okay, palpate his stomach. You prod his stomach with the heel of your palm. It feels rigid. Okay. Bates offers no reaction. Okay, fine. How is this supposed to feel? You can try it on yourself. Push against your belly. Let's do it. It's supple and furry. You prod it and it rumbles slightly in response. Nothing like Batesy rock hard abs. Alright, let's stop prodding his stomach. Let's examine his eyes. They're caked with roomy gunk and bloodshot, but he meets your gaze. Move left to right. This is really cool. It's like full-on role-playing a doctor. It's good. His eyes follow you steadily, but he's begun to frown. What? Sorry, Batesy, just checking something. Aha, knock yourself out. Looks like his eyes work fine. Okay, check his pulse. You prod his wrist until you feel the pulse underneath. You start counting, keeping an eye on your timepiece. His heart rate is a spot under 300 beats per minute. His heart rate is what's a normal rabbit heart rate? 150 to 300 at rest. So it's on the high end. Okay. Got me worried for a second. His heart's fine, it's the rest that's worrying. Alright, let's leave him alone for now. Let's open our journal. So where do the clues go? Is it... Oh, here we go. Fine. Observation. Seems to think... So he's delusional. His mouth is normal. Stomach is rigid. His eyes are normal. Okay, fine. Symptoms of Alzheimer's dysfunction are crossed eyes and stuttering, so no. Cramped abdominal muscles and delusion. I think it's that one. Gastric stasis by the looks of things. And then there's the testimony as well. Okay. I like this. It's really in depth, isn't it? Right. I suppose. Let's open our log. Use your journal to cross-reference your findings and come to a conclusion. Okay, how do we do that? Do we go into the... Oh, I see. That's what these do. It puts things on or off of the journal. Right. Okay, so stomach is rigid. So do we like need to click these or start the report? Diagnose okay, Bates's stomach is rigid. Bates seems to think I'm his younger brother, so he's delusional. So what do we do? Just tick them all, or? Bates's eyes are bloodshot and his gaze is steady. Yeah, I guess we just put all of them in. Bates must be delusional. Okay. So that's fine. Symptoms are gastric stasis. Okay. Outbreak is only affected. I'm not sure that those actually contribute anything. So maybe we just take some of these out. Submit. What does that mean? Okay, let's talk to Dr. Hopper. How do we talk to Dr. Hopper? Looks like we maybe need to do something else here. I don't know. Right, Dr. Hopper. Talk to me, old boy. Give me a few pointers, Doc. What should I be doing? I think I know what's wrong with Bates. Great, let's hear it. Show Doc your report. You hand Doc your notes. He holds it parallel to the floor at navel height, chin resting in the palm of his hand, eyes pointing straight down. Ah, he grumbles. Aha. That's it, old boy. Well done. He exhales, visibly relieved, handing back your notes. That was my thinking exactly. His hallucinations and the cramping in his midsection point to the culprit. Gastric stasis. What does this mean for us? Gastric stasis is not great. It's got a lot of possible etiologies and no etiology-independent cures. In other words, he pinches the bridge of his nose, a lot of things can cause it, some of which we might not even know about, and I can't cure it unless I know what's caused it. I think this is where you'll come in, old boy. Wait, you want me to find out what's causing the outbreak? Why don't we deduce through experimentation? What would you like me to do? I was thinking you could try snooping around town, see if you can't find some common denominator between the patients. Oh, snooping. I like snooping. He smiles crookedly, scratches a brow. That predilection will sure come in handy. Where should I start? What are these things, by the way? Don't know what that is. Where should I start? Well, first off, before you get going, I recommend taking a gander in the book on gastric stasis on my desk. You should have some sense of the possible causes of the disease. It should be next to the book you just read. Okay, I'll do that. After you've done that, you should investigate the circumstances leading up to the various groups of rabbits falling ill. To find a common denominator, right? That's right, so. The first group to fall ill was 4 miners. Inigo, Poppy, Murdoch and Finn. That was 2 weeks ago in the evening. Inigo should still be in town. See if you can't get him to open up. Fine, we'll do that. The second group, the 2 miners, Larry and Cooper, well, that might be a problem, as both of them are stuck up top. But Gart brought them in 3 days ago around lunch. Try talking to Gart, see if he knows anything. That's Gart the old-timer? That's right. And lastly, the Bates situation. Yesterday around lunchtime, Linda just about managed to get to my office to tell me Batesy was ill, before she too started wheezing and talking nonsense. Take this. He holds out a sizable brass key. It's for Bates's flat. Linda and the kids are there, so don't be alarmed, but I'd like you to take a look around. Okay, fine. Can do that. Take the key from Doc. That, Doc excels with noticeable relief, should be it, old boy. If you've got any questions, I'll be right here. Otherwise, good luck for all our sakes. Okay, we'll figure this out. Okay, so we've got a whole bunch of other things to do now. Find the cause of the Burrows outbreak, read the book on gastric stasis, talk to the miner, get clues from the old miner, and check for clues in the Bates family dwelling. Interesting. So there's a lot going on here in terms of, like, deduction and looking around. So where's this gastric stasis book? Said it should be over here, right? Find a chapter on gastric stasis. Is that the one? Gastric stasis, a known unknown. Jump to the section on causes. Section on causes is a thicket of qualifiers, a veritable hedge maze. Everything seems or appears or looks. There is not an unmodified instance of the verb to be on the whole page. Okay, fine. You read. Here's what you managed to pass. First, gastric stasis is often found in rabbits who've eaten a high starch, low fibre diet. This was first noticed with potatoes. Second, exposure to various known poisons often precedes episodes of gastric stasis. Everything from quicksilver through almond bitter to ricin. And finally, there is no reason to believe that gastric stasis is infectious. You finish the chapter learning nothing more. Okay, what else can we look up? Okay, let's leave the book for now. So, could be diet related, could be poison. Let's head out. And we are out in the Burrows. And the music begins. So, pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm going to play more of this, obviously, because I was lucky enough to get a key from the developer. So, can't wait to see what happens next. It's really cool. I love the whole investigation thing. Like I said before, it's more of a casual, slow-paced investigation game, rather than sort of speed through and, you know, stuff like that. But I like it. It's chilled out. It's a nice, cute vibe. It's quite in-depth with the things you have to do. You have to, like, make little deductions and use the journal and the log and stuff. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. So, I'll leave a link to this down in the description below. Go and check it out if it seems like the type of thing you'd want to play. And thank you very much for watching. A big thank you to my patrons: Arcades Games, Wayne, Nate, Terminally Nerdy, Paul from the Phantom Fellows, Lyle, Barry Aldridge, Hobo, Numinous and Coumadin. And I'll see you next time.